What's up, you guys? My name is Alex Hampton. If this is your very first time ever watching any of my videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Then hit that bell right next to it. That way you get all the notifications of every time I'm releasing a video here on my YouTube channel. Guys, also hit that like button as well. That also helps us in the algorithm every time we're putting out content. That is one of the best ways to support us, along with subscribing and commenting and doing all that great jazz. Now, guys, I want to get into this particular topic because this topic has been roaming the internet for like the last 3 weeks. I know I talked about it on my show, the Ask Alex show, and I know I talked about it before, probably in a separate video, but I want to address Dave Chappelle's the closer controversy. I've noticed over the course of the last few weeks, people have been like protesting, people have been angry, people have been trying to get his special shut down, things of that nature, right? And I understand the frustration, I think, and I understand where it's all coming from. But before I give you my thoughts of what I may think should or should not happen to his special, let's go ahead and watch his response. His response is about 5 minutes long. He posted it on his Instagram, which then it circulated through the social media channel. So let's go ahead and look at what he said in response to the Netflix outrage and all the people who are addressing him about his special. So let's look at this response.
It's been said in the press that I was invited to speak to the transgender employees at Netflix, and I refuse. That is not true. If they had invited me, I would have accepted it, although I am confused about what we are speaking about. I said what I said, and boy, I heard what you said. My God, how could I not? You said you want a safe working environment at Netflix. Well, it seems like I'm the only one that can't go to the office anymore.
Well, he's not lying.
I want everyone in this audience to know that even though the media frames this, that it's me versus that community, that is not what it is. Do not blame the LGBTQ community for any of this shit. This has nothing to do with them. It's about corporate interests and what I can say and what I cannot say. For the record, and I need you to know this, everyone I know from that community has been nothing but loving and supporting. So I don't know what all this nonsense is about. In summer 2020, when the whole world shut down, I was outside doing shows. My neighbor had a cornfield, and he let me throw shows there, and people came from all over the country. Some people came from around the world to see those shows. The best comedians on earth came to my home and broke bread with me. And we lived our lives. We found a way to keep moving forward. I made a whole documentary about it. The first night of those shows was a piece that some of you might have seen. It was called 846, and it dealt with the murder of George Floyd. This film that I made was invited to every film festival in the United States, and some of those invitations I accepted. And when this controversy came out about the closer, they began disinviting me from these film festivals. And now, today, not a film company, not a movie studio, not a film festival, nobody will touch this film. Thank God for Ted Sarandos at Netflix. He's the only one that didn't cancel me yet.
Interesting.
To the transgender community, I am more than willing to give you an audience, but you will not summon me. I am not bending to anybody's demand.
Y'all heard Dave.
And if you want to meet with me, I'd be more than willing to, but I have some conditions. First of all, you cannot come if you have not watched my
I think
special
that's
from
reasonable.
beginning to
I think
end.
that's fair.
You must come to a place of my choosing and a time of my choosing. And thirdly, you must admit that Hannah Gadsby is not funny. I desperately want people to see this movie. But I understand why investors would be nervous. Since nobody will touch it, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will make it available for all of you in 10 American cities, going on sale in the next few days. You will be able to see this movie in its entirety, and you can see what they're trying to obstruct you from seeing. And you can judge for yourself, but you cannot have this conversation and exclude my voice from it. That is only fair. You have to answer the question, am I canceled or not? Then let's go. Thank you very much, and good night.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack there. So let me just address a few things that he said that I tend to agree with. He said in the beginning of the special that, the whole point of this walkout was to not, I guess, offend or make a hostile work environment. And he made the comment that it seems like he's the only one that's not allowed to come to the office. It's not safe for him to come to the office, which is somewhat of a true statement. I don't know if Dave Chappelle were to walk into Netflix right now while they're protesting, he would be received with love and care, or with good intentions to actually speak to him about how he feels about whatever he said in the closer. Let me just say, this video is not to offend anybody. It's not. I'm coming at a very objective point of view. I'm not necessarily taking sides, but I'm also looking at what's presented in front of us. Now, addressing his initial video, he said that he's more than willing to meet with the LGBTQ trans community. But he's not going to bend a knee. He's not going to be forced to do anything that he doesn't want to do. He will give you an audience, but he's not going to be forced into doing something that he doesn't want to do. I agree with him in that point, because we're treating our comedians as though they're politicians. We're treating them as politicians, or we're treating them as people who can invoke policy. I understand that we do need to hold celebrities and people of stature accountable when they do certain things. But when I watched the closer, the closer twice. And I liked it both times. I never felt that Dave Chappelle was attacking or intentionally trying to defame or hurt anyone of part of any community, because he's not just talking about the LGBTQ community. He's talking about black people, white people, Jews. Like he even made a child molestation joke. He talked about feminism. So when you watch the closer, it's not heavily directed towards the LGBTQ community. Even at the end of the special, he gives a wonderful story about doing comedy with one of his friends who was trans, who ultimately killed herself, which was a tragic story, but he found a way to tell that story where we could understand and also laugh. Dave Chappelle, in my humble opinion, didn't say or do anything to attack anyone. He just provided a perspective, and the whole intent of comedians is to make people laugh. Personally, I've made the stance that if you don't like something, don't watch it, don't support it, don't lend yourself to it. Let me just give you guys a perfect example. And again, this is not to offend anyone or go after a certain community, but I am not a fan, nor have I ever been a fan of Donald Trump. I was never a Trump supporter, didn't vote for Donald Trump. I could understand why people voted for this man to run our country. That being said, every time he said or did something, or you saw a Trump supporter say or do something either online or in person or on the news, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it because it wasn't something that I believed in. It wasn't something that I wanted to support. So I didn't watch it. I didn't have to give an opinion about it. I didn't have to be so outraged about it. And I don't feel like any of those people should be canceled. I mean, if their jobs want to cancel them, or whoever they're tied to wants to cancel them, that's, their business. But for me, I'm not calling for cancellations for anybody, because I understand that humans tend to do things that are crazy and stupid. They just do. They fall head on sword with their beliefs, and again, they say and do things that we may find idiotic, but I don't believe in cancel culture. I do believe in holding people accountable, but I don't believe in cancel culture. I think we should cancel culture, because cancel culture is not something that I believe is a tool that can necessarily help individuals understand where they're coming from. Now, if you want to criticize the closer, if you want to criticize Dave Chappelle and his beliefs, you're more than welcome to do that. But I don't believe calling for the removal of his special, or calling the removal for all of his content, is the right way to go. The one thing I would like to pose to people who are offended of the closer, you do realize that on Netflix, right now on Netflix, there are other comedy specials, TV shows, and movies that have LGBTQ community individuals in those said things, and they make fun of them. Are you going to then keep that same energy and cancel those things and have them demanded to be pulled down? I don't. There are plenty of things on Netflix, not just Netflix, but any other streaming service, from Amazon to Hulu to all these other different entities. There have been plenty of comedians and shows who've made fun of people of that community, just like there have been plenty of shows and movies and specials that have made fun of people in the black community, the white community, the Jew community, Asians, you name it, it's happened. My whole take on this whole thing has been, listen, if you don't like Dave Chappelle's special, don't watch it. It's simple as that. I don't believe that canceling or the removal of said content is something that is ultimately going to help the situation. And also at the same time, giving an opinion about how you may feel about whatever shouldn't be vilified. Again, people have their belief system. Do I agree with what Dave Chappelle said in his special? I didn't agree with a lot of the things that he said, but at the same time, since I didn't agree with a lot of the things that he said, I still found it funny. Even the things that he said about black people, I didn't agree with those things, but I found it funny. And as a black man, I can find the humor in things that I don't necessarily agree with. And I don't need to call for the cancellation of things that I disagree with. So in closing, I would say that we should stop listening, or we should stop treating our comedians as though they can invoke policy, as though they can change the world or change the outlook of what we do on an everyday basis because they have an opinion or a perspective. Don't get me wrong. I think Dave Chappelle is an amazing comedian, a dope storyteller, one of the GOATs of our time. However, I don't hold Dave Chappelle to the same standard as I do local officials or police officers or anybody who can, actually invoke and do something to change. I'm not saying that Dave Chappelle can't invoke change with his status, but what I am saying is that Dave Chappelle's reach in terms of changing people doesn't necessarily exemplify the same amount of reach for people who can put into laws and invoke policy and changes policies. Like, Dave Chappelle can't do that. Dave Chappelle is just a comedian trying to make people laugh. That's it. I hope that you guys took what I said and understood what I said, and don't try to vilify me as a supporter of anything. This is me being objective. I see both sides, but at the same time, I don't feel as though canceling anybody is the way to go in regards to resolving an issue or or giving a peer solution. So that's my take on all the things that have been going on with Dave Chappelle. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about all this controversy surrounding Dave Chappelle? Just jump into the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, where you get all the updates of every time I'm releasing a video here on my YouTube channel. Guys, do me a huge favor, hit that like button as well, and stay tuned for more content coming to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. As always, you guys, have a blessed day.